Let me try this again. I was sharing with you the fact that um, I'm looking forward to a fresh week, and that if I sound a little congested, it's not probably the coronavirus, but the fact that um, we were doing a lot of work this weekend around the yard, and I helped to chop down part of what's called a peppercorn tree, which is covered with dust and so forth, and I managed to inhale lots of debris. So today I'm just a little raspy, but I'm fine. Today I have a very special guest, my pal Jane LaFazio. Jane and I have been pals and um, fans of each other for a long time. And Jane's going to be joining us in a little while to draw with us and to tell us about how things are going in San Diego. So, yes, pollen. Pollen is another part of it. So, anyway, so hopefully you're all hearing me now. Yes, good. I need like a production crew, I think, to make sure that everything is working before I start blathering. But anyway, good. So today the plan is to do drawing with our non-dominant hand. Why, you may ask? Well, I'll get to that in a second. But the idea is take a pen, take some paper, and put the pen in the hand you don't normally write or draw with. In my case, I'm right-handed, so my left hand. And what's interesting about drawing with your non-dominant hand is I think it is obviously very challenging. You don't have the kind of fine motor control that you have with your dominant hand. Um, you, but also you give yourself a certain kind of permission because when you're drawing with this other hand, it's almost like you have this invisible collaborator who's not very good at drawing, but is, earnestly trying to help you out. And you'll end up with a drawing that may not even look like you drew it, but it will feel sort of fresh in some ways. But it also gives you permission, at least for your inner critic, to do a drawing that you're not really responsible for. So I find that drawing with my left hand gives a new kind of line quality. It is also sort of a relaxing experience because you're not responsible for the outcome, and you can always say to yourself or to anybody who's looking on, "Well, I don't normally draw with that hand." But it's also just another sort of surprising drawing experience. It feels awkward, and as Chris just said, get ready to embrace awkwardness. It's true. I think what's also interesting about it is it forces you to deal with this unexpected obstacle, right? So you suddenly have this thing thrown at you, working in this odd way, and you have to be creative. You have to respond to this new kind of line quality. You have to slow down, probably, or possibly speed up. We'll see. We'll try a few different ways of doing it. But the idea is that we are going to draw a portrait of our right hands, the dominant hand, with our left hand. Okay? So why don't we just give that a whirl and see how that works? Let me just throw on this other perspective. Here we have it. All right, here we go. So I'm taking my right hand and I'm just kind of laying it on the table just so that I have some subject matter, something to draw with. And I feel very awkward immediately, even just knowing where to put the thing down. But let's try it out. Maybe I'll use my right hand to anchor the paper. So I'm going to start at the bottom of my hand, drawing up the side of my thumb. And then I'm just going to do basically a a contour drawing. Not going to get too ambitious with this. Um, I hope you're trying this along with me and you're not even seeing the horrible mess that I'm making because you're engrossed in your own drawing. That would be ideal. But if you are watching me, get ready for some excuse making. Definitely going slowly is key. Oh, did my camera just turn off? There we go. Where was I? I find for some reason that I'm wanting to draw with one eye closed. Oh, I'm noticing how dry the skin on my right hand is from all this incessant hand washing. It's kind of awful. I'm going back to the beginning to just finish up this part of the hand. Now I'm going to go back and just fill in a few um, details I'd missed before. Brad, use your right hand. Yes. All right. There it is. It's actually not that terrible. But I went very slowly, and there were certainly places like this where it just kind of went off on its own. But it really did force me to slow down and just be very, very much in the moment. So hopefully that worked for you too. I'll wait for a second to see if any of you want to talk about that experience. Or maybe in the meantime, I'm going to grab a big fat marker. I have this set of big fat markers here that I found somewhere in the house. And let's try one of them out. It'll make it even more unpleasant to do. All right, here we go. I'm going to do it again. Because I'm using this big marker, I'm for some reason moving much faster. Which of course is going to make this drawing a little bit even more awkward. Oops, I'm about to draw on my hand. Probably not a good idea. Let me move it. These markers smell very weird. Very alcohol-y. Again, this doesn't look like I drew it. Some people say it looks awful, like Lenore. Some people say, like Grace, that I did well. But what about you? Darren shut one eye. It looks like you're using your left hand in a different way than you're using right. Probably. Was I? Much more upright, I think. Much more upright. Yeah. So So yeah, so that's the experience of drawing with a non-dominant hand. You could do, I mean, what could be interesting though is to then take this drawing with the right hand, with the left hand, and then kind of go in with your right hand and sort of embellish it if you wanted to, and turn it into something else. Make it a collaboration really between your two hands if you want to, and maybe add some cross hatching with a hand that knows its way around a bit more easily, and say thanks very much, other hand, but I'm gonna now step in and take over. You've done a heck of a job, but let the pro take over. Anyway, might also make you feel better about how you draw with your right hand. But I do like that the feeling of that, the look of that. Heather went super slow. Still looks rather meh, but that's okay, I suppose. It's true. Susan thought it didn't look bad. Um, Lisa thought it was terrible. Lenore used a fountain pen. Yeah, I was thinking about that first too. That was the first thing I picked up, and I suddenly thought this feels really quadruply awkward in the wrong hand. So I switched because I think that your fountain pen really is not designed to be used with the wrong hand. So anyway, all right. Well, that was fun. Let us now bring Jane in. Jane, are you out and about? Are you ready to join us? Let me just check in with Jane. Um, Hi, Jane. Hi, Jane. Are you there? Hopefully she will be in a second. And we'll bring Jane in. Yes, there she is. Great. All right, good. Okay, good. Let me bring Jane in here. Okay. And here am I. And here is Jane. And let's get rid of this. Jane LaFazio. Hello.
Hey, Christine. Hey,
It's so nice to see you. You're looking
nice to
healthy.
see you. You were
Uh,
saying?
are you hearing me from both microphones? Is that the problem? No.
No,
Okay.
I'm no. Can
Okay.
you hear me all right now?
Yes, I can hear you absolutely great.
Okay,
Terrific.
okay,
Good.
perfect.
So, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. It's not a bad place to be inside our home with my sweet husband and our kitty cats and my art supplies and my our books. I was up early this morning and arranged for grocery delivery tomorrow morning, so that was good. So we're hanging in there.
Now, you live in San Diego.
Yes.
So are you feeling that San Diego is a particularly safe place in California compared to other big cities? Does it feel like things are reasonably under control there? Well,
I think so. I mean, I literally haven't been out of the house in 2 weeks. So, because I have a cold, I got a cold a few days after I got back from Santa Fe. So, all the more reason to stay inside. But when I look out my window, it's, sunny and beautiful, and the gardeners in our neighborhood are working, and people are walking their dogs. So, that view is pretty darn good.
so no zombie hordes running by and being
No, I haven't.
chasing
I
people.
I haven't seen anybody in the hazmat suits or the gloves or anything. They're normally dressed and they say good morning, so they still speak. So, yeah.
That's good. Yes, people are very friendly. I mean, a couple of days
Yeah.
ago, we were walking down the street, and my wife said to me, like, "So are we now? We have to say hello to everybody we pass, do we?" And I was like, "Yeah, why not? I kind of like it."
That's right. You're used to being New Yorkers, not Arizona people.
No, in New York, if you did, like, you might get arrested. But here,
I
but
know.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know if New York people are even more afraid to say hi, or if they're maybe breaking down. I don't know. I'm not there. I'm thousands of miles
Yeah.
away, thank God. So
Yeah.
what about from a creative point of view? What are you doing with yourself?
Well, I find for me the best part of my day is going in my well, I shouldn't say that. Don, my husband might be listening, but the best part of my unscheduled day is going to my studio, and I've made a little journal that the prompt is everyday things I am grateful for.
Hmm.
So I find something to draw, and that's really great. And then I'm also binge watching the most bizarre show for this time, Blacklist with James Spader, which
Oh,
is
I
like,
see.
lots of end of the world scenarios. Um, but it's I'm in my own little cave of goodness when I'm in there.
That's
Feels
nice. Yeah.
good.
I've been reading quite a lot. I just finished this morning, finished reading a book called This Is Happiness, which is a book about, it's a novel about people in Ireland in the 1950s. They live in a little village that's getting electrified for the first time. But
Ah,
it's so beautifully written, and it's funny, and it's romantic, and it's emotional, and it's like a million miles from today's reality. So it's just a really nice kind of experience. This is happiness. Um,
this
and
is happy. I have a book recommendation too along those same lines
yeah,
called This Tender Land. And it's a wonderful story about some orphans in Minnesota in the 30s that traveled by river in various ways to St. Louis. And it just takes you away to the story and their adventures. And yeah, same kind of thing.
yeah, it's definitely to me, escapism is much more what I'm interested in than more darkness. So
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So um, so what kinds of things have you been drawing in your series, and what are you drawing them with? Oh, can you show us some? Good.
I can. So I made this little book.
Hold it up a little bit more. Yeah.
Oh, there
Okay.
we go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's made out of my favorite hot press watercolor paper. And I randomly dyed the pages before I put it together with this blue stuff. And the cover, I only have one thing on the cover, and it says, from my tea bag that says, "Happiness is an accomplishment," which I thought was very apropos for
It
this.
does. It takes some effort.
Um, so So I drew some flowers I got. The tea I've been drinking, I got a new Daniel Smith color. What's that? A plant. Art supplies, definitely grateful for art supplies. Um, Ramen, eating a lot of that. We've had this orange tree in a pot for 18 or 20 years, and we get 2 oranges a year. So we celebrate those. Some virus stuff, um, stuff for my cold, the flowers. I'm gluing on the things from tea bags and fortune cookies, some pears.
Hmm. Beautiful.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm really enjoying doing it. I'm doing a little bit of journaling in there. I can add pages just in case.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Volume two.
So yeah, really, really. But it also makes me during the day think about, okay, what is it I'm grateful for, and what am I going to draw?
That's great.
Which is a good way to occupy your thoughts.
That's nice. No, because we were talking here in the drawing party last week, was it, or maybe it was the week before, about a similar idea of what are the things that are delights. And I was citing this book called The Book of Delights, which is a beautiful book written by a poet, and it's 100 and something essays about every day he would find something that delighted him. And so, yeah, so that similar idea that even that it's important, I think, to have each day have some meaning. It's so easy for us to I don't know, have today each day flow into the other. Like I was glad that this was the weekend. Like we took the four of us who were living here in this house. We kind of took the weekend seriously. We didn't work. We did different things, and I think it's important to have a demarcation in each day. I find doing this thing first thing in the morning starts off my day on the right way, and then this is just structure. I think is really important. It's easy to lose that, and then you can feel even more kind of unmoored and sort of lost.
I like that idea of breaking up the weekend from the other days. I hadn't really thought of it that way, but I like that. Yeah, get away from. Yeah, I like it. I'm going to give it a try, Danny.
Yeah, I mean, we went, we did, as I said, a lot of yard work, and we also went for a hike. We found a place that is not particularly populated, and we went for a 4 mile hike with the dog, and that was really nice. And so it was just, it felt like a weekend. And then this Monday morning, and we're back to work. So everybody's back at their various workstations around the house, and we're all getting on it. But I've never had
Yeah.
but my brother-in-law started the day by taking the leaf blower and blowing out our office because I sit here and he sits over there, and he cleaned the office with the leaf blower. I was like, okay, that's a first. So so all new experiences makes
Yes.
life
Yeah.
interesting. So yeah, good. Well, all right. So Jane, we're gonna do our left-handed drawing, and we're gonna draw each other. Okay. So, and I think to make it
Okay.
even weirder, let's do a blind contour drawing with our left hand. So we're going to look each other right in the eyes,
Okay.
and we're so move up a little closer to the camera so your head is a little bit bigger if you can. Yes, sit up nicely, and
Yes.
we're going to
Yes.
spend like a minute or two doing doing an incredibly accurate and beautiful drawing of each other. But so just you can look at the paper long enough to put your pen down, and
Okay.
then we have to stop, and we're just going to stare at each other. All right, on your mark, get set, go.
Okay. I got to tell you, I was trying to draw you when you were talking earlier, just with left-handed, and I found you looked a lot like Gorbachev.
Gorbachev could be worse, I guess. Is it? Maybe I have to get that birthmark taken care
That's
of.
what it was. It was like a mistake with my pen.
Oh, nice.
Oh, this is really hard, Danny.
I know. I'm going to make it even harder by putting on my other camera so you can see this
Oh, and
monstrosity.
I just went, I think, onto my desk rather than the paper. Okay. Oh, get your little earbuds. Okay,
Okay, I'm looking back briefly because I'm going to try and find a different part of your head to draw.
Oh dear, I just looked at what. Okay, don't look.
Don't look because then you also move your head, and I can't draw this incredibly accurate drawing of you. It's kind of lifelike. I mean, people, just to be clear, the live image of Jane is in the middle, and my drawing is the one on the side. Just don't get confused and think, oh. So I just
I
want
can't
you
see your side camera. I think I must be right. Must be good.
to know it's amazing. I mean, this. I think this might be the way that I draw in the future, just left-handed blind contour, because it's it is no that is a work of art. Um,
Yeah.
you look actually a lot like my grandfather.
Okay, well, let me finish you. I started a new you. Okay. Oh God. All right, you show me first. I did two of them because I'm just so good at it. Let me see yours. You can really tell who the pro is. Here's mine.
Beautiful. They're kind of interchangeable. Like your drawing could be of me, and my drawing could be of me, and they're
It's
all
true because we both have our glasses on, so it's true.
all right. That was a colossal success. I'm glad that we did that.
Yeah, and now you have your picture ready for your next class reunion if you want to, put it on the online yearbook.
I
Here
know.
it
I can't
is.
wait to share this everywhere. I mean,
Have people guess who it is. No, don't.
it's true. Like, who in the faculty could that possibly be? No, that's good. That's very good.
We're geniuses.
All right. Well, so do you have any recommendations to people who are, you know, out in the world looking for fun and interesting ways to occupy themselves? Um, because one of the things you do, I mean, you lead all these wonderful workshops and take people to new and different places.
Yeah.
So now people are in an old and very familiar place like their home. What kinds of suggestions would you have for them to keep their creative juices flowing? Any thoughts?
Well, I mean, I do have a couple online classes, janelafazio.com, that are starting up, one of them.
That's true.
And I've got some little mixed media workshop kind of things, so that's good. I am, posting nearly every day on social media with things I'm grateful for, my little drawings and stuff. Um, for me, that's my social connection, drawing and then sharing it. Um, I think I'm blessed, I guess, to have so many creative projects and outlets. I make art quilts, so I've been stitching, which is so therapeutic, stitching at night, especially. Um, and yesterday I dyed some, it sounds weird, but they're like paper flowers, but they're made out of wood. And so I'm going to make
Wood.
a wreath. Yeah, they're called Sola wood flowers. Um, and so I dyed them with acrylic paint, and now I'm going to glue them on a wreath and make a peony looking wreath. I'd already done one of those in succulents, fake, these wooden flower things. They look like paper flowers.
So it's very, very
So
thin wood that's like bent. And
yeah,
I see. I see. I
yeah,
see.
yeah. You just dip them in. Um, so just different creative projects.
That's good.
I did. I don't know if you saw. I did before this started. I made some paper mache teacups, as one would. Um, but I'm one of those people that, yes, I proudly call myself an artist. But the bottom line is, I like to work with my hands. It doesn't matter. I like any kind of craft or cutting and painting. So I enjoy them all, I think, equally.
Are you are
So I
you
have
cooking a lot?
not at all.
No.
not not at all. Somebody mentioned to me, "Oh, Jane, I wish I had your energy." And I said, "Well, all my energy's in the studio. None of it is in the kitchen or the chores or any. We're just eating just normal regular food. No, I'm not cooking at all.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because of my cold.
Well, I proposed to my housemates yesterday that we start a chore wheel, which I thought was very exciting, and they all got kind of excited by it too. But I don't know if we're actually going to do that. But a chore wheel, I don't know. It worked in first grade, right?
Well, tell me what it is.
You don't remember chore wheels from when you were like in first or second grade?
No.
So you'd have like everybody's name on the wheel, and then you'd have all the chores written around it, and then you'd turn it so every day everybody would get a different set of chores. Feed the
Oh,
hamster, sweep the floor, put the chairs away nicely. All the things that we used to do in first grade seems relevant. So, yeah.
my mom, I don't, so I grew up with an older brother and my mom and I, and she would write a list on one of those steno pads of all the chores that needed to be done, and then I could choose the ones I wanted to do. Um, I don't know what my brother was doing, but that's how I remember that. Yeah, I like the
Yeah,
chore wheel
yeah,
better.
the chore, I mean, I remember it from school. So it was not a home thing. I mean, I'm trying to, I don't re- I was just, I need to think about chores, what chores were like when I grew up. But anyway, yes. I mean, certainly
Yeah,
it feels like it's like another part of having routine and yeah. So,
yeah,
James, tell people what your website is so they can find you.
yeah. JaneLaFazio.com. LaFazio, LaFazio.
There we go. Jane LaFazio.
Yeah,
So, Jane, thanks very much for hanging out with me today. I hope that your cold goes away soon and that you're in fine health and that you can, I don't know, go outside a little bit. Looks like a beautiful day out there.
I know.
Just walk
I
around the block
know. Our big
sometimes.
deal. Yeah, go out on the patio. And I wanted to celebrate you, Danny. Thanks for asking me to join you. We've known each other since 2006, so pretty long
Really?
time.
That's it 2006.
Yeah,
Wow, 14 years.
yeah,
You were in
yeah.
high school then. Yeah. Uh, I remember it well. I remember meeting you after high school, after cheerleading practice.
Oh yes. Oh God,
Yeah,
where is that?
Jane, some of you may remember, was in the very first sketchbook school class beginning, and
Yeah,
that was a long time ago. But yeah, so I hope that you get through this well. I hope that you
thank
stay
you.
safe and that you
Thank
stay creative. And everybody, you should definitely subscribe to Jane's newsletter because she's always sending out stuff that she's doing, so you can know what's coming up. She's a great teacher as well, so if you'd like to take a class with her, please do.
thank you, Dan.
And for those of you who are interested in sketchbook school stuff, we sent out an email today, I think, about our boot camp, which is a really fun thing. Our boot camp is a course that you that it's a 6 week boot camp where every day you get something to do, which seems particularly appropriate now. But you can take just the first 2 weeks of it. The first 2 weeks of it focus on drawing. The last 4 weeks of it focus on color in various forms, and then bringing it all together. It involves a lot of like the really the best lessons from sketchbook school, plus a lot of new stuff. But Jane's class is in there, where we go with Jane to a vineyard and draw together, and that's really fun. So if you're looking for something and you want something to sort of kick your butt on a daily basis, sign up for this, because you'll get an email every day that says, all right, time to do this, time to do that. It doesn't take a huge amount of time to watch the lesson, but then you can spend as much time as you want to. And just having that, I think, daily discipline is really great. I mean, I like discipline. I wrote a book called Everyday Matters, which was about that, and I wrote a book called Art Before Breakfast, which is about that too. So I think having a routine, having a habit is the way to make your art get better, is the way to gain more fluidity and confidence in what you do, and the way to just sort of integrate it so that you overcome a lot of the reasons that we make for ourselves to not make art. Having a habit, having regular ideas. And that's the nice thing about this course and about things like our prompts list that we have as well, 101 prompts, is when you make a commitment to yourself to do something, you don't have to wrestle with, well, what do I do? Because I think that's one of the things we have is what we call blank page syndrome, where you say, okay, I've got a sheet of paper, what am I going to do with it? Um, you know, Having just a directive lets you get past that issue and focus more on the actual making stuff, right? So giving yourself projects like Jane does, where you say every day I'm going to make something that's a variation on something I made before, again helps you to get past that, because you don't want to have to reinvent the wheel or the chore wheel every day. You want to just get into it and start making stuff. So failing all that, if you're incapable of signing up for any of these things or unwilling to, and you want me to just continue to hawk my wares day after day, that's fine. Just sign up for this. Sign up for this daily drawing party and show up here and just do this today with us. And the best way to do that, because I have been a little unreliable as to where this shows up, is subscribe to our YouTube channel. Then and click the little bell. If you do that, as soon as we come on, boom, you will get a notification. You'll watch me dawdle for 4 or 5 minutes to kind of get you going. So just give yourself some kind of an assignment, particularly now when you don't have you know enough formality. It's really, really important. So, all right, thank you very much for joining me, and I will endeavor to go back onto multiple platforms tomorrow, to be on Facebook, etc. Hopefully I will, but at the very least, I definitely will be on YouTube tomorrow. Jane, keep on keeping on. Have
Thanks,
fun.
sweet.
Feel better. Say hi to Dawn for me. And
I will. It's kind of JJ.
okay, bye bye then. And bye bye, everybody else.
Bye.
Thanks so much. Bye bye.
Bye.